What up, YECD squad? My name is Joe Posada, and I'm one of the assistant directors here with the UT Youth Engagement Center Dallas. Today, we're going to go over this presentation of our writing skills, basically helping you better understand how to write your UT essay and also your resume, and just in general, just essay writing. A lot of it is going to be coming from what are some of the UT requirements in terms when it comes to essays, but just know that the same format that you have here and the same tips and what have you, you'll be able to also apply to any other essay that you're writing. And then also talking about your resume, the expanded resume, and what are some of the expectations on that as well. So we'll go, so tips for writing an essay, right? So first, we definitely want to ensure that you're answering the prompt. I think first and foremost, this is the most important thing, because oftentimes, you may be a creative writer, or you may be like just excited to write, and you'll start writing, and then you'll start putting your thoughts together, brainstorming, what have you. But also just know that if you have a whiteboard or you have a scratch sheet of paper, just write down that prompt so you know what it is and find out the focus of your essay. Because oftentimes we can forget about what the prompt was, and then ultimately like, what did I really answer that prompt? And so again, so it's just one of the easier things is typically what I do: open up a Word document, put the prompt on top, and then I kind of start jotting down my ideas. You also want to make sure that you're making it personal, because we know you're not a robot, right? We want to see the emotion in your writing, or what you're going through, or what you're writing. Like, we want to be able to feel that, and oftentimes you can by the way that you write. An important thing is checking spelling and grammar. I think that oftentimes, think about this if you're submitting a paper for your English class, your English 4 or your AP4 class. You have your teacher would be looking at it, grading it. Even though you're not receiving a grade, this is still plays a huge role in your admissions decision to gain entrance not only to UT, but maybe oftentimes you may be using this essay for scholarships and what have you. So you want to ensure that the spelling and the grammar is there as well. Now, on a side note, I know that oftentimes we'll definitely encourage, I know I encourage you all, if you write this essay down, sometimes you may be able to use this essay with other applications and what have you. If you do that, again, it's perfectly fine. Just one thing to keep in mind: make sure that you're changing the name of the university, because one thing that is very oftentimes what I get not discouraged, but when just seeing that, when I read a great essay, or when I used to do admissions, or read a great essay, and then it said like, oh, this is why I think I should be admitted, or I'll be a great fit for UT Dallas. And it's all great that you want to go to UTD, but if you're submitting an essay for UT Austin, you want to ensure that your essay reflects that as well. So that just as one of the things just to keep in mind as you're editing your essay and you're sharing it or sending to other institutions. You also want to make it engaging and unique to who you are. This is basically, if by sharing stories, oftentimes I feel like when I'm answering essays, even now as an adult and as a professional, or looking at topics or just writing something, I find myself that, I try to bringing my own personal experience, my own stories, because oftentimes I tell my students, I always tell them that, each and every single one of you, each and every single one of us has a story to share. Whether we think it's good, bad, or different, nonetheless, it's still a story, and I want you to embrace that. And oftentimes, I like sharing that story with my students, with colleagues, with friends, and what have you, right? And so the same thing I would do in an essay. Like, obviously there'll be some details that I may not include fully, but I would still want to be engaging, and just so people can get a full big picture of who and what I am. With writing that, that engaging us, and also writing unique to who you are. You also want to, tell us about your positive attributes. If you know that you're a good morning person, or a night owl, or that you're task oriented and what have you, we want to see those things as well. Because I think again, this essay is really to see as who and what you are outside of the admissions application, right? Oftentimes, the application is going to give us, how you are in terms academically, in the classroom and what have you, but we want to see outside of that. And oftentimes, through these two things, your essay and your resume, allows us to see a better picture of who and what you are again. Also, you want to ensure that you're telling us, as you're writing your essay, and how you're going to contribute to the university, because I think this is one of those opportunities for you to not only showcase who and what you are, but also be able to let us know, what are some things that you want to bring to the university. I know when I was applying to my institution, I was always letting them know that I was heavily involved in student organization on campus, and that's something that I wanted to continue doing in college, and to be able to kind of like, be able to develop my leadership skills, and to, eventually become a leader on campus, and by, joining different organizations and what have you. So I think you oftentimes have that opportunity to showcase that on your essays as well. And then, and I think one of the bigger pointers here is like also like the structuring your essay, which is having a, strong intro, transitions from point to point, and conclusion. So you want to ensure that you have that available. I just noticed that I misspelled intro on there, but see, like this is, if this was an essay, I would be missing something on there. But you want to ensure that you have a structure of your essay, so like that it also flows very well. Um, so once you have that essay, right? Once you've taken time, we actually have our Bevo Bootcamp videos that we're actually I'm also gonna link on here with the rite of passage. So if you're wanting to have some exercise, we have an amazing a colleague of ours, Ms. Anne Morano. She actually spearheaded our rite of passage, which essentially engages you all to, if you need a little bit extra boost in terms of like how getting started. She has some amazing essay, which I'm gonna call it essay activities for you all. So I'll make sure that I link this on here, so you can definitely be able to engaging in brainstorming and what have you. So like that, if you need, like, I need to find my creative cloud, or if you hit a writer's block and what have you, this hopefully these activities will help you with that. So once you're done with your essay, so how do you submit it? So one of the easiest ways to do it is you always want to ensure that if you can, to submit your essay with your admissions application. So whenever you create your Apply Texas account or your coalition account, you want to ensure that you're working on these essays, like you have the essays already, and I'll show the prompts here in a bit, and you also have access to them on our admissions website. And every single institution has those prompts if they require an essay on their admissions website. So it would be great for you to kind of start working on that while you're working your admissions application. But just note that it's not the end all be all. If you don't have your essay ready, you can always submit it outside of the Apply Texas. But we definitely encourage you to submit it together. In the event that you're not able to, you can submit it to the document upload system. So once you submit an application to the university, whether it's UT Austin or any other institution, you're going to create your college portal. This college portal is going to be your profile, in a sense, to see your admissions process and your status of your admissions application. So if it's completed, it's going to have a lot of green check marks saying this is done, or highlighted for you. If you're missing a few things, for example, if you're not able to submit that essay, it's going to ask you if, give you an option, like a little tab. You click on it, and then it's going to take you to our document upload system, and then you'll be able to submit your essay. And then you can always do it by snail mail or by the mailing system. You can always submit it to our Office of Admissions here in Dallas, and they'll route it back to Austin. Though this is not typically preferred, again, it's still an option for you. And then the neat thing is that you also have us, you have me, to be able to help you at your campus. You have some Ms. Taryn Bright and Dr. Brian English to be able to kind of guide you through that process. So if you're having trouble submitting an essay or expanded resume, just let us know, and we'll definitely ensure that you get that up and running. So what is a resume, right? So basically, a resume is like a culmination, or basically a summary of everything that you've done, whether you're not only your achievements or things that you weren't able to put on your Apply Texas and Coalition application, but basically it's everything and anything that you've done, whether it's in the high school, at the campus, in your community, or your job experience, or what have you. Basically, it's your opportunity to boast about who and what you are. Oftentimes, students, around this time, you may not have a resume already, but that you've been involved, or when you do a little sheet that gives you like how many community service hours you've done and what have you. So think about that as a resume. It's kind of like tracking like what you've accomplished, academically, right? You have a 3.75 GPA, you've taken these many AP courses, or you're a dual credit student, or you're in an early collegiate high school. We want to know all those things, right? You can put those things on your resume. At the same time, you could also showcase any extracurricular activities you've been involved in. And so this would allow you to, if you're involved in two, three different organizations, or you have leadership roles within these organizations, we want to know that, because we want to know, obviously, we're going to have your transcript that's going to show us who you are academically, and we're going to have your essay to also give us a better picture of who and what you are in and out of the classroom. And your resume also gives, especially your expanded resume, gives a little bit more information about you and who you are. So just know that it's important for you to complete that. It's also important that as you're writing, you're following the kind of the same structure, same rules as if you were an essay. Checking for grammar errors in grammar, ensuring that you're putting as much information as you need. And then if you need help having a template, we actually have one, and I'll make sure to link this at the end of the video within the Google Classroom for you to show on there as well. So for example, and like if you also submit your resume, you want to include details about what each activity involved rather than a general description. So like if you did community service at your local church, what did you do at your local church? If you did a tutoring, who did you tutor? What grade level? Just because it helps us understand, again, like if you're tutoring, like if you want to become a teacher, and we know that you're tutoring, early childhood students or elementary school students or your siblings or what have you. We want to know that as well. And then also seeing how the number of hours per week and weeks per you spend on each activity. You'll see that you'll have a format of this on Applied Texas, but just know that you'll have that as well outside of it. And again, I'll try to find our PDF, a sample resume, expanded resume for you, so you can also start creating that if you haven't done so already. Now, so again, like a re-emphasis about your resume and some tips, keeping it concise, focus on the depth and length of the commitment, meaning that if you did, and if you've been involved in, for example, I was involved in high school in JROTC, which was, even though it was a classroom, it was also an extracurricular activity for me because I was involved not only in the class, but I was involved in like the armed drill team, the color guard, the rifle team, and so these others, I was involved in them since freshman year. So that shows that, I was able to be involved in not only in JROTC in the classroom, but also in the extracurriculars all 4 years, and how often we met on a weekly basis and per semester basis and what have you. You also want to provide details wherever it's possible. So again, you want to make sure that you include as much as you can for sure. So like that, it gives us a bigger picture of who and what you are again. Again, if you want to highlight things that you weren't maybe able to do on your application, or more importantly, your college essay. So this is again an opportunity to showcase who and what you are, and boast about all your, everything that you've accomplished up to this point. Knowing that, again, not only keeping it concise as bullet point number 1 showed, but also formatting. Formatting is going to be key here. And we can definitely, again, I will have a template for you that you'll be able to kind of like resemble it or like reference, and then you'll be able, if you need to copy it, go ahead and just replace your information on it, and it makes it easier. And then ultimately, the most important thing is also ensure that it's honest and accurate. We want to ensure that we want to showcase the type of student you are with everything that you've done. Not to say that that you may include things that you're exaggerated or what have you, but we just want to ensure that you're as honest and accurate as you can. And then there's also that's where we pull some of this information from the Princeton Review, if you want to go ahead and just see what other resources they have for you. And then on top of the essay, some institutions, so for example, like UT Austin, we're going to have short answers that you're gonna have to kind of answer as well with your essay. Now, these short answers are going to be something that are going to be about 40 lines, or roughly about 250 to 300 words. So these are going to be like paragraph length, oftentimes mini essays. So you're answering particular questions. So you have 3 that you're gonna have to complete or answer, and you're gonna have an optional one as well. My recommendation to be the strongest candidate to gain admissions, the more that you provide, the better. So if you're able to provide the essay, answer all 3 short answer questions, and even complete or answer the optional short essay, and then you expand your resume, I think all of that is going to give us a really good picture on top of your high school transcript and your application as well. So just keep that in mind as you're doing that. So these are the short answers. The first one is, why are you interested in the major you indicated as your first as your first choice major? So give us a little bit more insight of why do you want to, and if you want to become a business major, why do you want to become a business major? Is it something that you've always wanted to, and how did you come about choosing that major? For me, when I was an undergrad, I chose emerging media and communications, and for me, it was because I was always interested in just engaging, not only being online, but also what I can do online, whether it's understanding social media platforms, software and hardware. So it was really neat for me to kind of study that in my undergrad. The short answer for number 2 is going to be leadership. Leadership can be demonstrated in many ways. Please share how you have demonstrating leadership in either your school, job, community, and or with your family responsibilities. So this one again, this is a really great one, especially if you already have your resume, because if you any extracurricular activities or anything that you've been involved in, you could always reference those here and talk a little bit more in depth about them of how you became the president of the student council or the class president. Then how was that for you and how were you able to kind of like showcase your leadership skills and what have you on there as well. Or if it's with if you are limited on your student engagement on campus because you had family responsibilities, you had to work and what have you, you have that opportunity to showcase that here as well. And then the last short answer that you're required to complete is, please share how you believe your experiences, perspectives, and or talents have shaped your ability to contribute to and enrich the learning environment at UT Austin, both in and out of the classroom. So this one is really more, kind of like reflecting, like it's reflecting on everything that you've kind of experienced, your perspective on things that you learned and your talents. And and going back to what your essay, talk about how you'll be able to contribute to the university, right? This is your another way to kind of showcase that as well. And so I think this is great, especially I know oftentimes when I look at this, I was like, how can what do I bring to the table, right? And know that you, each and every single one of you, have something to bring and to offer to the university. So this is a great opportunity for you to showcase that and let us know what that is, because we know it, you know it, and it's just really good to have it on paper. So like that later down the road, you can also reflect. And then the optional short answer is going to be, please share background on events or special circumstances that you feel may have impacted your high school academic performance, including the possible effects of COVID-19. So again, keep in mind that we understand that we're in a pandemic. We understand that at most of your spring semester last academic year, half of it was in school, and then after spring break, you may have not gone back. You haven't been back to campus. We understand that. We know that also in this fall, you've started also in distance learning, online learning, or a hybrid model, whatever your district and campus has offered for you. So we understand that, and we also understand the implications of that. But we won't know. We don't know what we don't know, right? So we want to be, again, this is an opportunity for you, especially seniors, to kind of let us know, like, hey, like I've not only have I been, trying to stay on top of my academics, but being that both of my parents work, or I have other siblings that are elementary or middle school, having to help them set up for for distant learning as well. And then yourself, like, we want to know all these things and how has it impacted you. And then because we want to have a deeper insight of how you've been able to to navigate this pandemic. Like all of us, even as adults, we're going through all of this as well. I have a 8-month-old baby, so caring for him while also, being active with work and also at school and all of these other things, we understand all of this. And if I'm facing this as an adult, I can only imagine what you're going through as students. And oftentimes, we may not have, space at home, or our internet is very choppy, or whatever the case may be. We want to know those things. So know that you have that option to express that on here. So hopefully it wasn't a lot of too much information. Just know that I will be posting a couple of additional resources for you all. I'll be posting obviously this presentation you're seeing, but then you also see the rite of passage that we had for Vivo Bootcamp, and then you're also going to see a PDF version of an expanded resume, so you have things to reference as well. And like always, you can always contact us. You can always reach out to Ms. Taryn Bright Haskett. You can always reach out to me. Again, my name is Joe Posada, or to our executive director, Dr. Brian English. You can always email us, text us. If you are on social media, active on Facebook for like Brian, Dr. Brian English mentioned, if you're an old soul, you can always follow us on, give us a like on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter, or if you're on Instagram, we just created. And actually, I just noticed we actually updated all of our social media handles, so all of these are actually a little bit out of date. So I'm going to ensure that I post. If you go to the main page on the Google Classroom, you're actually going to see all of the updated handles for all of our social media platforms. So just know that that you can always reach out to us, and we can go from there. So again, my name is Joe Posada, and I'm with UT Youth Engagement Center here in Dallas, and it's been a pleasure. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment below, or just shoot us a message, or a text message, or an email. Thank you very much, and have a great day.